let's get right into this story. There's a new market that unlocks trillions in compute on top of what we heard from Nvidia. And that new market is unlocked by a guy named Kush Bavaria, so Bavaria, and he is the CEO and founder of Orn. So what is Orn? They were just on CNBC. They are trying to turn AI compute into a real financial market where you can buy and trade AI compute prices in real time and futures. So if an H100 is $1.80, and a B200, I don't know the latest prices, is $2.70 or something, you can basically trade futures and say, I believe in 1 month or in 6 months it's going to be, $2.50, whatever it is. And you know the importance of futures. It stabilizes the market. It makes assets plannable. It makes the buyers of that stuff who actually deploy compute much more safe in their planning. So these financial markets are very important. It's not just for traders. It's also for securing and de-risking the real world build out of big infrastructures. We saw it with oil, of course. We saw it with, what is this, pork Baileys, beans, coffee. All of that stuff needs futures, because if you're a coffee shop, you want to buy coffee and you want to plan your annual budgets, you know already what you're going to pay because of futures, because you can secure your price with futures. Okay, you're basically committing and say, I need to buy 1 ton of coffee in December, 6 months from now, and I'm buying some futures, securing myself with futures in case this thing goes through the roof and I have to buy super expensive coffee. I made the exact offset with my futures. And if it drops, by the way, I still pay the same price because I'm losing money on my futures, but I don't care, because I don't care about futures. I want to buy my coffee for whatever coffee costs. I don't even know what it costs. $10,000 per ton or something. I want to make sure I get that. Same with compute. If you plan a giant compute build out, you want to have these tools, these futures, to make sure you're getting your compute build out done with a fixed price. Can you imagine that? How cool that would be. You can basically bet in a good way and say, if I finance my data center today and I'm planning out a data center $50 billion expense, how do I know how much do I pay for these GPUs in 1 year when I need them, once I have the permitting done and have the center built up? If I raise my money, how do I make sure I'm getting the compute? Once you have futures, you can just make sure to your partners, to your banks, look, I have it locked in, I know the price. That is not possible today. Today you're taking the full risk, and that's very bad. Hey, on this channel, we do something very important. We deeply analyze, understand, and predict capital, AGI, and politics. Not just to beat the markets and make a lot of money, even though that's important, but also to build a new society and make the future good for all of us, the pioneers. If you want to help me on this journey, you can do that by doing a very simple thing: like and subscribe. It helps me a lot. Thank you so much for your support, and let's get back to the video. So GPUs finally get forward prices, right? That is exactly what it is. Orn's index use live traded spot transactions across GPU types rather than manufacturer list prices, exactly what I explained. That creates a benchmark against which future H100, H200, B200, and VRs, Vera Rubin compute price, can be traded and hedged. It makes huge, infinite build out of compute a financially plannable operation. Because when you build a data center and you're spending 50 billion, 45 billion per gigawatt, 30 billion goes to the GPUs. And if this 30 billion of your 50 billion data center suddenly becomes 35 billion, because next year the prices go up, which could absolutely happen, you are hedged. Now with this index, you can build futures and everything and hedge this thing. Incredibly important. Once you get into sizes like that, and once things become so big, think about the biggest of all companies doing that. Think of SpaceX. SpaceX needs that to actually succeed. So the futures make the future easier to finance. It's very simple. Neoclouds, AI labs, they can hedge the futures and know exactly what's happening. And compute becomes the build-out's backbone. The AI build-out backbone is compute, even if the models change, even if Anthropic and ChatGPT change. Who cares? Everyone needs compute. The Chinese need compute. Any alternative model, Meta, Muse, Grok, they all need compute. And as part of that, all of these things just support the huge build out. Now, Goldman Sachs, by the way, raised the baseline $1.6 trillion a year by 2031. They are not making any jokes here. They're not kidding around. And 7.6 trillion cumulative between 2026 and 2031. Interesting stuff. Let's go to the next story. To view the full brief, go to pioneerlens.org, and there you will find the weekly brief. And every week we are covering capital markets and your favorite AI stocks, including Tesla, SpaceX, and many other. You shouldn't miss that. Also in the weekly brief, by the way, we have a segment, AI Frontier, where we cover the latest in AI Frontier models so we understand what the future brings. And we have a new segment, Politics, where we cover all the transformative things that are happening in the United States and Europe. So check it out. See you on Pioneer Lens.